Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to crack open one of the most common, yet surprisingly misunderstood mysteries of our daily lives, the simple yawn. You know, we all do it, every single day. But it turns out, almost everything we think we know about it is probably wrong.
So let's just get right to it. Why in the world do we yawn? I mean, it feels totally automatic, right? Sometimes it's a little inconvenient, and it is definitely contagious. But what's the real biological reason for that deep, involuntary gasp of air? Get this, on average, you are going to yawn about 250,000 times in your life. That is a huge part of our existence, and yet we know so little about it. So let's figure out what's really going on here.
Okay, so our investigation is going to start at the very, very beginning. Because you have to understand, this isn't some bad habit you picked up. Yawning is a fundamental, deeply ingrained reflex that's with us for our entire lives. And when I say the beginning, I mean it. We start yawning just 11 weeks after conception. Yeah, before we can even breathe air. It's a fully baked reflex from day one. Now that social, contagious part, that doesn't really kick in until we're about 4 or 5 years old. Then, as adults, it becomes this amazing signal our body uses to manage transitions, like waking up or getting ready for sleep. It's a constant companion, right from the start.
All right, let's put on our detective hats for a second. Our number one suspect in this whole mystery is the oldest and, let's be honest, the most popular theory out there, the idea that yawning is all about a lack of oxygen. The old theory sounds pretty logical, doesn't it? You're tired, maybe you're in a stuffy room, your blood oxygen gets a little low, so your body triggers a giant gulp of air to fix it. Makes sense. But here's the thing, the evidence completely falls apart. Researchers have actually done studies where they had people breathe air with higher oxygen levels, and guess what? They yawned just as much.
And this really just puts the final nail in the coffin. This quote from the research community makes it crystal clear the oxygen theory is a total myth. There is literally zero scientific support for it. So we can officially cross our first suspect off the list and start looking for some better clues.
Okay, so if it's not about oxygen, then what is it? Well, let's look at our next clue. The weird, almost magical way a yawn can be contagious. I mean, this social aspect is honestly one of the most fascinating pieces of the entire puzzle.
And this effect is incredibly powerful. Turns out about 65% of us are susceptible to catching a yawn from somebody else. But here's what's really interesting. It doesn't happen to everyone. And that right there is a huge part of the puzzle.
And here it is, the big twist. The reason some of us catch yawns and others don't, it actually has very little to do with how tired we are. It has everything to do with empathy. Yeah, contagious yawning is basically a sign of social connection, of our brain's ability to unconsciously tune in to the people around us. It's basically a chain reaction in your brain. So it starts with a trigger. You see, hear, or maybe just think about a yawn. Right away, that activates the social, empathetic parts of your brain. Then, your mirror neurons, those are the cool brain cells that help us imitate and understand what others are doing, they fire up. And the result? Boom, an unstoppable, totally involuntary yawn. It's a social reflex. So, we've debunked the oxygen myth, and we've explored the empathy clue. Now, let's get to the main event, the leading scientific theory for why we yawn in the first place. And it's this. A yawn is basically a built-in cooling system for our brain. The key to this whole theory is a concept called thermoregulation. Now, it's a bit of a fancy word, but it's a really simple idea. Your body is just constantly working to keep its temperature just right. And that's especially true for your brain. Okay, to make this super easy to understand, let's use an analogy. Just picture your brain as this high-performance supercomputer. It is processing a mind-boggling amount of data every single second. And just like any powerful computer, all that hard work generates a lot of heat. And what happens when a computer overheats? It slows down, right? It gets sluggish. Its performance just tanks. Well, your brain is no different. To operate at its peak, it absolutely needs an efficient way to cool down when it starts running too hot. This is exactly where the yawn comes in. It acts like a biological cooling fan. That deep inhale pulls in a rush of cooler air from outside. At the exact same time, that massive stretch of your jaw dramatically increases blood flow to your head. This lets the cool air chill that blood, which then circulates right up to the brain, lowering its temperature and boosting its performance. Pretty clever, right? And this isn't just some neat idea. We actually have data to prove it. Studies have found that people yawn way less often when the air around them is cooler. But when the air is as warm as their own body, which makes it useless for cooling, yawning frequency shoots way up. It's a really clear link.
So, after looking at all the evidence, what's the final verdict? What is your yawn really, truly trying to say? Well, the answer is it's not saying just one thing. It's actually a complex and incredibly efficient tool our bodies use.
So a yawn is a signal for cooling down an overheated brain to make you think more clearly. It's a way to boost your alertness when you're waking up or getting ready to sleep. It's a sign of social empathy and connection. It can even be your brain's way of gearing up for a big task or rebooting when you're bored. It's a Swiss Army knife of reflexes.
So, the next time you feel that deep, irresistible urge to yawn, just pause for a second and think. Are you bored? Are you tired? Are you connecting with someone in the room? Or is your personal supercomputer just running a little hot? What is your brain really trying to tell you?